Good morning, Coach Anderson. Thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
So you're fresh off your team's road trip Tuesday night to Lebanon. You got the sweep. How does it feel now? Second straight, 2 years in, second straight district title. How cool is that to hear?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they're like, there's not a lot of people that can say that they've never lost a district game. And when he said that, I was like, hey, yeah, that does have a good ring to it. But it's also like, we've only been open for 2 years, and so when he said that, I was like, it does sound funny, and it is nice, and yeah, I mean, it feels great, to be honest.
And not just never lost a district great game. You didn't exact. I'm like last year. You launched into Shallow Waters District, who perennially, Coach Savage and that group, great volleyball program. I'm sure they were glad to see y'all go. To be honest, and
Yeah,
then now you step in and you dethrone Leveland, and
yeah.
so it's pretty impressive what y'all have accomplished.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. Shallow water. It's funny. Uh, I think they had a love hate relationship with us. Me and Coach Savage we have a great relationship, and I think when we hopped in, everybody was like, "Okay, so you're just gonna hop in for 1 year and then y'all are gonna bounce? Like that's not fair." Uh, but at the end of the day, I think it was all good for us. We all pushed each other, and Shallow Water, of course, was a good push for us too. And like we kept them on our a schedule for this year too, and so that was good. And yeah, and then we hop into this district, and I'm sure these coaches probably feel the same way. Um, but at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, we can't help it. We're getting put wherever we're gonna put, and we're gonna go play. So
And I want to talk playoffs, but let's circle back to that. I think one of the unique things that sometimes fans don't get a chance is to really get a look into like the Lady Patriot team. Like they see the incredible volleyball. This being your first head coaching position, what are some of the key things that over the last couple of years you've really tried to build your program on? Maybe some philosophies or principles?
yeah. Um, I'm a big relationship person. These girls, they go through a lot. High school's hard. Being a student athlete, uh, the girls that I have right now too, they're the smartest kids ever. We've got a 99.8 GPA right now for our first period. Yeah, they're awesome. Um, they they put a lot of pressure on themselves, and they handle it really well. But at the same time, like these kids need you not only just for athletics but outside of school too. And so I'm a big relationship person. When I got this job, or when I guess I've wanted to be a coach since I was 9 years old. I told my mom. I don't even know where it was that's what I wanted to be, and it never changed. Everybody said that you would go change your um, when you're in college, you'll go change whatever your degree a few times, and it never changed for me. This is what I wanted to do for a really long time, and so I've been under a lot of different coaches. Did my student teaching underneath Friendship, Randy True, and then I got a middle school job at Evans, so I've done that side, and then I got the job at Cooper, and so been underneath Carly and Coach Hill, and so I've just been under a lot of people, and you always learn a lot of things um, from them, and I just kind of took some pieces and just made my own puzzle, if you want to say it like that, of kind of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to keep, what I didn't want to keep. And what was really great about getting this job is we got to start our own culture, and we're still building our culture. And I keep telling these girls every like once a week that, you know, yes, last year was our first year, and that was our culture building year, but y'all still have the chance to build this culture until you leave. And it's, up to y'all on how y'all want to keep this culture going. And so it's just, I think trust in your athletes is one of my big things. Like if um, I always say that these athletes will run through a wall for you, but you have to do the same for them. And that's kind of what I guess my philosophy is just, you know, trust and relationships, and then coach them hard. And if you have that trust and you have that relationship, I think you can coach these kids hard, and they'll take it in. So
You talked about being new and creating a culture. You also have to create your own traditions. Has there been anything new that y'all have been able to almost it's becoming a Lady Patriot tradition in volleyball?
Um, not not necessarily, not yet. I kind of I now that you say that, I've been wanting to try to find something, but just nothing's really popped for us, I guess, yet. So yeah, I'm excited to find that whenever that time comes.
You know, being a head coach in a new program, I can only imagine it. It comes with its pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
But one of the things, having spent a lot of time at Cooper between both schools this season and being new to the area, I feel like Cooper's unique because a lot of times, like we move from an area that has multiple school districts and they see themselves as rivals. You hear that's a rivalry.
Right.
Where when I spend time at Cooper, you hear the word family a lot.
Yeah.
And what is the support of Cooper meant for y'all starting out?
Yeah, it's huge. Our superintendent he's absolutely amazing. He kind of came up with he talked to all of us and kind of came up with a saying. We say better together, and it's exactly what that is. And honestly, I thought it would be a little bit like I would struggle with it, but when Mike Moffitt got the job, I'm like, this is awesome because that guy's, I, talking earlier, he's coached me since I was 9 years old. And then he's just kind of been my mentor, honestly. Like when I knew I wanted to be a head coach, he helped me and he told me like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And this is what's hard. And this is what's fun. This is what you're going to enjoy. So he kind of stays on my favorites on my phone, and whenever I need to reach out and need some help, he's there, and so that's really nice. But at the same time, it's been it's been fun because the girls that are over there, the seniors right now, I've got to coach all of them, and so I haven't got to make a game this year, and we got done early with Levellands because we swept, and so we came back and they were playing Tascosa and a later game, and so we actually got to the school. We all ran off the bus. Me and my assistant, she took her own car, but I took the bus, drove the bus over to Lubbock-Cooper, parked it in front of the school, and got to watch. It was just one set, but we got to watch them play, and it was, those girls hold a special place in my heart. Really, that entire staff. So it's hard. Don't get me wrong, because they're right down the road, and we're going to be. I think at one moment we're going to be rivals whenever that time comes. But we always just say like we are LCP and we're an LCP family, and so as we can keep that going, I think it makes us stronger. So
You know, you talked about Moffett and Elsie and Cooper. Um, Talk about a contrast in two different programs. Doctor, I always like to call him Doctor Buffett. There's a prestige to that he has earned. But
yes,
so he has a team with 9 seniors this year.
right.
But you've had a very unique task at Liberty for the last 2 years because you haven't coached a roster that's had a senior on it.
I know.
Um, has that been a challenge, and how has that maybe impacted your approach to player development?
Yeah. It has been a challenge, but it's been awesome. It is, and not only this, like I'm a new coach too, so I kind of got to get my feet wet just as long like with the girls. I mean, I was learning some stuff, like learning how to be a head coach, um, as long as with girls, and so I would say like the hardest challenge is these girls had to learn to be leaders without leaders. And so, because a lot of these girls were either on a middle school team, um, or like saying, or coming from last year, or they were on a JV team or a freshman team. And so, like, I think it took us a second. These girls knew what the varsity level was, but they didn't know what the varsity level was. And, we just had to look at them and be like, hey, like, you are the leaders. This is what we expect. This is what we're going to do. This is how practice is going to be. You have to hold each other accountable. And they're like, what? um, and then same with me. And it was just like, I think that was a challenge, but these girls, like, they're awesome. They handle it really well, and we still struggle with it. There's just times where, like, some girls are holding each other accountable, and then these girls are like, wait, what are you doing? And so I would say that is the challenge part of it, but it has been, last year we got to go into every single game as the underdogs, because we were just freshmen and sophomores, and that was really fun, but we didn't use it as an excuse. And I think our whole school got tired of people saying that, not in a bad way, but just like, hey, like, we are a varsity level team, just like everybody else. Like, these girls they have to step up, and they did really well. And I think, how well we did last year really showed that. But, you know, people say, like, that, Coach Anderson, this is your team. I'm like, no, the girls are the team. And I just push them and I coach them because they handled everything that we gave them last year. So, even now, I mean, we got nine juniors, that will be seniors next year. And I keep telling the girls, like, hey, I know you still have another year, but it goes fast. We're an old team, but we're also a young team because we don't have seniors. And so we still have some challenges. We still struggle with some stuff, but it's been really awesome.
You mentioned the success you had last year, regional quarterfinalists. I got to be I was on the call for NFHS for that Bushland Lady Patriot game, and I remember I was actually set up on y'all's side because it's just the way the stadium, I set it up before I even knew which side. But I remember thinking, this game y'all are gonna be so much better because of this game.
Yeah.
Because being able to see what a veteran club and because there's a certain, sometimes when you haven't been there, and you don't know about it it's like being in the water. Until you've gotten in the water, you really don't know what it's like.
100%.
What have been some of those moments, maybe outside of even just that you've really watched your team grow up?
Oh, you're exactly how you said it. We have learned so much from, we learned from our first round of a playoff game. That was our first one. And then we get to second round, and it's, they got to feel a little bit more of that. But they knew they weren't going to truly feel what that was going to feel like, when we go play Bushland. And, you know, I've talked to the shallow water coach, Mandy Mangum, and she's like, third round, it's Bushland, third round, Bushland, third round. And we're all, and so that's what we got to, the girls knew, like, this is what we're going to do. This is where we want to get. And we got there, and I'm couldn't be more proud. But the girls finally felt what it felt like to know that they can lose and be done. And of course, they've never felt that. And we all smile about it now, and we all kind of, but at the same time, we don't smile because it makes us mad. We didn't play our game, and at all. The girls, it really, we knew that they were going to push us 100%. We knew that they were probably a little bit better, the better team. And, but we knew that we had the underdog feel, or the underdog mentality, and we had nothing to lose and all of this stuff. And we just didn't handle that when we did it at the game. And we talked about it a week ago. Like, how did y'all feel in the locker room on the bus ride? Like, did you feel prepared? Did you feel ready? Yes. When you were in the locker room and y'all were going crazy and getting ready and getting your mind ready, did you feel like you were ready, you were prepared, and you were going to give everything you had? Yes. And I said, okay, when you were walking out on the court, did you feel? And they're like, no. They're like, as soon as we started walking on the court and we saw Bushland, they're like, our nerves hit. It became, they knew that they had a chance to lose, and they didn't want to lose. And we talk about it. They wanted to not, what was our saying? They wanted to not lose more than they wanted to win. Yeah. And so that just became like, we started making mistakes, and they're like, no. Instead of being like, hey, one mistake, move on. Like, we are a good team. Like, we can handle this. We can. And we just kept feeling like them putting the pressure on us, and we just weren't putting it back with them. And yeah, we've 100% learned from it, and it was really good for us. And I think, like I told the girls the other day, we know what a playoff game feels like. We know what we should feel like. You shouldn't feel like game 1 and game 2 last year. You should feel like what it felt like when we walked in the gym to go play Bushland. That's what you're going to feel on our first round, because we go play Glen Rose or Brock. We find out tonight.
Yeah.
They play. And so it's going to be a heck of a game. And I was like, so we've got to start training our brain, literally, seeing us win, seeing us do good things. And so I literally made them close their eyes, and we walked through every moment of what Bushland felt like, even when we were down. I don't know, we were down by a lot of the time. And, we finally didn't start playing until we knew that we were going to lose. And the girls finally were like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, it's a little late, but okay. So again, it's built us, and I think we're ready.
Yeah, and I'll ask about the realignment and the splitting of playoffs in a second. That's going to land you a Brock Glen Rose matchup that you would never see in round 1 before. But I want to talk first about your girls. You talk a lot about them. First, I got to ask: does Abby Dallas ever not smile? Like, she has so much joy on the court.
Yes, that's how she is 24/7. She is a girl that I say this, that every coach needs on their team, because she's she's a good Christian little girl, like just loves Jesus, loves her team, loves her coaches, but at the same time will hold the girls accountable and not scared to do it. She holds me accountable, and she's not scared to do it. Because we all joke about it. I don't have an assistant yet in my gym, because my assistant's my JV coach, and so they practice, and so it's just me. And so I'm over here trying to do stats on the board while trying to run the drill, and stuff's going on. And Abby's Abby's like, "Hey, Coach Anderson, that was our point," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, and I trust her. I know that she knows what's going on, and yeah, and she's doing a heck of a job, just doing awesome. But that's how she is in practice too. She just 100% kid. Work ethic is always there, and really proud of her. So
She's fun to watch. I mentioned I was on y'all's side during the NFHS broadcast last year, and I always like to ask fans, like, who do I need to know? Like, what's the name and almost every single one of them said Campbell Beeler.
Yeah.
She's the real deal. What has she meant to your Lady Patriot team?
Yeah, she's our powerhouse. She has she played a little bit of defense last year. We had quite a bit. We had 2 defensive kids that just really just did their job, so we never really had to put her in the back row. And so, but I've always known that she has that, like, Campbell just has hunger, and that's how you have to say it with her, because she's just she's hungry, she's feisty, and she's competitive, and she will do anything that she possibly can for that ball not to hit the floor. It may not look the prettiest, it may not be the prettiest, but will not hit the floor when it's game time. And she has completely taken that role in the back row this year, and so now she's kind of an all-around player. She's playing front row, she's playing back row, she's serving for us, and doing a really awesome job in all 3 of them. I would say right now she's doing better in defense and helping us in the back row than she is in the front row, and that means a lot, because we really needed that. But she she and it's funny that everybody does say it is Campbell Wheeler, because she can hit that ball, and she can hit it really hard. And when it goes good, it's good. So she is definitely one of those for us.
And there are a lot of volleyball coaches around the state who would give anything to have one good setter. You have 2 really good ones.
Yeah.
How beautiful is it to have that kind of depth?
Yeah. God, they're 2 completely different players, completely different leaders, which is awesome, because we don't need the same person. Jacelyn, I've actually had her. This will be, she was on my JV team her freshman year. So this is my third year to get to have her, and hands down, she's got beautiful hands. She can do just about anything that you need her to do. And as for her leadership, she's very quiet. Off of the court, she is not, but on the court, she is very quiet. And I've always said that the setters need to kind of be the quarterback of the team. They've got to kind of speak up, and she does. She'll speak up when she needs to, but other than that, she kind of stays quiet. But she leads of just, I will give you the ball, and it's going to be good. So I expect you to put the ball away. That's kind of her mentality on how she does things. And but Katelyn Glenn, on the other hand, is our team's voice. She's one of our captains. She really pushes the girls, but she also is the joy. But she will get mad when she needs to, but at the same time, when she's getting mad, she's positive. And she stays after practice at least 10 minutes almost every single day, just to get a few more reps than everybody else. And that means, as a coach, that means the world to you. It's, especially because she's tired, just like everybody else. I mean, she wants to go home. She's a kid, but she's going to put that extra effort in, and she's just done an awesome job.
Well, before we get ready to land the plane and let you get back to your day, we mentioned it a minute ago, UIL made some big changes this season in all non-football sports. And gone are the regional tournaments, which makes me really sad because those were so fun. And that's an accomplishment to get there. And now they've split it up into two divisions come playoff time. And as someone who's played the game and now you've coached it for we're going to call it a long time because maybe not as a head coach, but what are your thoughts on the changes?
I have, I would say I'm a little bit more, it's hard for me to say there's going to be two state champions. And that's hard for me because you're just like, you want to be the one, you want to be that one, the one team that goes to win state. Look at Bushland. How awesome is that? But at the same time, it's there's a huge difference between a really, really big 4A school and a very, very small 4A school. And I think, especially when you get up to 5A too and 6A, there's a massive difference between those two teams. And so I think it gives us a little bit more of hey, we can go compete with the smaller schools, but we can also compete with the big schools too. That's not what I'm saying, but I was really excited about it. And then we found out who our first round was going to be, and I'm like, well, that didn't. So, for some people, it's really helping them out, and it's gonna, it's giving them a chance at least those first 3 rounds for sure, and kind of past that maybe. But for us, it's the small schools are the team that finished just first and second in their district, and they're doing absolutely awesome. And so, but again, we need to be challenged and we need to be pushed. And I am so ready to be challenged and pushed because we've been missing it a little bit in this district time. So.
And let me ask you that, because sometimes you've built a powerhouse pre-district schedule. I mean, we came to the Shallowater game, we were at. I've seen y'all play some high-level volleyball, but then you can sometimes get into district play leading into the playoffs. And when it's not the strongest district, how do you find ways to still keep that team playoff ready? Especially when your first round matchup could be Brock or Glenrose.
Yeah, it's been very hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's been very hard for the girls, because they know, they know, and they know that they can go. When we kind of found out who was going to be in our district, actually when we kind of played our first game with them, they were like, we can do this, and it's not going to be very challenging for us. So we just kept talking, our practice has to be our push. And if we do not push and keep our keep pressure in practice and keep hunger and everything in practice, it's going to hurt us in the long run. And as teenage girls, that's hard in practice, because sometimes sometimes you don't want to, like, you're tired, and you took 3 tests today, and then you got the football game to go to, and there's all of that, to put that in. But at the same time, like, for me, I'm over here not trying to burn them out, because they know and I know. But at the same time, it's my job. I got to push them. So I've got to, hold this team accountable, but at the same time, trying to make it fun, but at the same time, trying to make it really challenging and pressure. And then we got to focus on what we need to do for the long run, which is have, worry about the block, where we're swinging, not just look at the defensive holes, but where are the holes in the block? Because when we go play big teams, you can't just look at the defense. You got to look at the block. And so we're over here, with Leveland. I was like, hey, like, we're up 18-3. But I need y'all to hit where their block is taking you. If they're leaving line open, it may not be open in defense because they were super far back, but that's where I need you to swing, because we've got to work on that. And they're like, Coach Anderson, I just want to score. And I'm like, I know, but I need you to do this. So it's been very challenging, and we're trying our best to just keep pushing in practice, but it's been hard.
I can see that. We coming, me and Bush, they had that similar experience, and so it always. But back then, you had a 4 seed to kind of ramp up the playoffs. Now there is none. You jump straight in the deep end round one, being just the way that sometimes I talk about a lot with our football guys. Sometimes the playoff path is more important than the team sometimes, because you'll see some teams make some runs that have more to do with their path than the team.
Yeah.
And y'all are not going to be that team this year. You're going to have to go earn it day one.
We are.
Well, before I cut you loose, let's let people get to know Coach Anderson a little more.
Okay.
I have some questions I always like to ask. What's Coach Anderson's favorite movie?
Oh gosh. I am not a movie. I'm weird. Everybody's like, Katelyn, you're really weird. Me and my husband don't watch a lot of movies. We watch the hunting channel. I'm a huge hunter. I have a ranch. And so when you walk in our house, it sounds like this 24/7. Because it's just on the hunting channel. So honestly, like, on the top of my head, I can't tell you my favorite movie. I am a big person. I just like to go do things. We like to go to the ranch. We are not homebodies, and now that we have a kid, it's been harder to not be home, like at home, but we still like, I call it FOMO, when people are out doing things. I feel like I have
You're missing out.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We like to go out.
So when you're on away games, does Coach Anderson have a favorite candy she likes to snack on road trips?
Yes, I'm a Airhead Extreme. The little, like, strips, strips. I like chocolate, but if I had to choose any dessert, it would be ice cream. Can't carry that on the bus, so I'm like a sour candy person.
Now, when Coach Anderson is the DJ, what kind of music are y'all listening to on the bus?
Texas country all the way. All the girls are like, Coach Anderson, can you play in the weight room? We'll play some hype music, but if I am putting on music at any time in the classroom, even in practice, like, Texas country all the way, that's my music.
I know you talked about hunting, but when you're not coaching volleyball, where will we find you?
Yeah. Now I get to stay with my kid. He's my best friend. He's the funnest thing to be around. He makes me happy. He makes me sad now, because when I leave and I don't get to come home, I cry, and I'm like, but he's my joy. So anything with him. But yeah, like I said, we don't get very many options to go during season, but the ranch is just my favorite place. It's just my happy place. It's where I'm the most happy, I guess, the best way to say that. Um,
I like it.
so yeah.
I like it. Now, if you had a walkout song, if you could choose one song to play every time you walked in the room, what would it be?
Oh my God, you put me on the spot. Um, I have no idea. I,
It's the hardest one. I mean, I ask everybody, even the players we interview and stuff, and that is the hardest one. Now they can all tell me everybody else's walkout song, like, oh, he would be this and he would be that, but it's hard to think
yeah,
what would be my walk.
let I would have to think on that for probably my athletic coordinator is the music person. She knows everything, every every song, and I'm over here like, yeah, I like that song, but I don't know who sings it. I don't know what it's called, but I like it. So yeah, I'm probably gonna get off of here and be like, oh my God, I should have said this, and now I don't know. So
Well, and finally, every good coach has a staff and a team. Talk to me a little bit about your staff.
it's I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. We last year I only had one assistant. She was we just only had one JV team. So but now I have two, and I actually have a soccer coach. Our head soccer coach is one of my assistants. She coaches our JV red team, but my JV Navy is Coach Darden, and it's really hard for me to say that because she is actually my best friend, and I for a really long time Coach Apple because that's her name, and so she got married, and now I have to call her this Coach Darden name, and so I don't call her that. I call her Apple Darden, or I just call her Apple, and everybody just knows who she is because that's her name for me. Um, she's awesome. She's a big she sees defense a lot, and I'm a big offense because I was a setter when I played, so I see a lot of offensive things, and um, so I've always said like I want to find an assistant that's gonna be. I mean it is a weakness. Like defense is something that I always look at second. I always look at offense first, and so she gets to kind of take over. I looked at her the other day as like, I need you to focus on defense, like everything about them, like hammer on them because I need to hammer on offense. And so it's been a good duo. Our soccer coach is a little bit new to volleyball, so but she has helped me out in ways that food. Some food is food is stressful. To order food on the bus for all these kids, and she's taken it and just done it. So I could not do anything without them. And so they've been great.
And then tell us about your husband and son before we get off.
Yeah, he's awesome. So everybody knows him as the big bearded cowboy. He is 6'7", big old beard, and I say always wears a cowboy hat. He doesn't always because in a game situation, but he is from Colorado and big ag boy. So he moved down to Texas because why live anywhere but Texas is my thing. and and so he is. But to be honest, he's my assistant coach 24/7. I had to teach him how to play volleyball with Splenda packets at walk-ons, and like set him up to learn rotations because he didn't understand that. And now he's at the time where I walk in the house and he's like, "This happened. This is what this looks like." Blah blah blah. Blah. I mean, just things are like I don't even see. And then sometimes he just has to be my happy place too because it's hard. And so he I couldn't do it without him, and he's literally the best dad that you could possibly imagine. And yeah, he's my person.
I love it. Now, you say you like to hunt. Who's the better shot, you or him?
Yeah, me. Uh, he's in the other room. He's listening. He's probably so mad that I just said that. He he's a big bird hunter.
Mm.
He waterfowl is kind of his thing. I'm a big pig hunter. It is my thing. Like, so when he moved down to Texas, he never been pig hunting before. And so I'm like, bird hunting compared to pig hunting, not the same. Like, and so he got to experience, getting in all of the mesquite and hearing all the pig, but not seeing any of them. And yeah, we're pretty big nerds about hunting. Again, don't get to do it like we want to. He used to hunt 24/7, 7 days a week, and I could, every once in a while. Now we just haven't got to do it, and it makes us mad. But when we do get it, we cherish it and love every moment. Now we get to bring our kid with us, and so yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. It was great getting to know more about you and your Lady Patriots.
Yeah.
And we wish you the best of luck. I think it's Glen Rose. If you're putting money on it, do you think it's Glen Rose?
Well, because we play the second place team, and so
Yeah.
for me, I thought it was going to be Brock, but Brock's playing good. They're doing some great. Their coach is intense, and so I don't know. I'm excited just to figure out who we're playing. That would help.
So you can start scouting.
Yes.
Either way, it's a regional tournament team from last year. That's what's crazy is your first round by district matchup will be a regional tournament team.
Yep.
So, but it's going to be fun. Well, congratulations again on a second district championship back to back. Still undefeated in district. I think the only other team I can think of is Bushland. I think they're like 94-0 in district.
All right.
Now you got to play. You got to go break their record. Well, they got to lose first before the record's even set. That's what's crazy.
True, 100%. Yeah, that happened. So.
But awesome. Well, hey, have an amazing Friday and a great weekend, Coach.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.